Hello, thank you for joining me. Today I'd like to talk about Japanese language learning. I have to assume that some of you out there are interested in learning Japanese or are actively learning Japanese now. I just want to talk a little bit about my experiences and what I'm doing now to continue. I started in college. If you can, start as young as you can. If there are courses in high school, take them. Get into an intro course. If you're doing it in college, that's fine, whatever. But get in there and just see what it's like, because it's going to be fun. Those first intro courses are great. You're just learning, alphabet and basic vocab, basic grammar, and everybody's in the same boat, and you're all going to have a lot of fun. It's going to be really cool. Once you get beyond that, things start getting a little harder. And my friend used to describe it as banging your head against a brick wall. And the further you go with the language, the harder, you're pounding your head against that wall. That wall does not move. It is solid. And I know what he's talking about. And that's not to say that it's not learnable. It absolutely is. And it's not to say that it's not fun and beautiful, because it is. It's all of those things. It's great. But it's hard. I guess either you kind of keep going with it and you maybe get a job, or you're using the language, or you move to Japan, and something like that, and that's awesome. So, if that's the way you go, that's fine. But you might get to a point where you're just like, I'm done. If you want to keep studying, you need to keep some part of that in your life. Something has to be important. Something has to motivate you. You have to find something that you're passionate about. And for me, it's Japanese gaming. For whatever reason, that is what excites me. So you find that thing that excites you, and stick with it, and keep learning. Over the years, I've collected books, and I've collected these books with the best of intentions. And I've even I've been to Japan since then, and I picked this up. I think just the last time I was there. This is Shogakusei no manga, kanji book. So you can a grade school kanji book. For Japanese native speakers. It's kind of fun. I'm sure I sat down with it maybe for a night or two after I got back from Japan, and I haven't picked it up again. So you just have to find the right things, I think. So for me, I think what got me back into the studying is going to Anime Boston. I went to this last year, and I ran into a panel that was conducted by a young lady, and she was great, and basically introduced everyone to various resources for learning Japanese. And I even asked a question. I was like, I've been involved with the language for years now, kind of, but I don't quite know where to go from here. I'm like, I know some grammar and I know some vocab, but I just, kanji, I'm like, is really getting me, and just expanding my vocab. And she just said it simply like this. She's like, sometimes there's no shortcuts. You just have to memorize. You just have to learn this stuff. And I was like, well, she's right. She recommended to everyone is this book, Learning Japanese for Real. And I ordered this off Amazon. It's a really good book. Native speakers of Japanese might not really understand what learners of Japanese as a second language struggle with, but this tries at least to address some of those things. It's not comprehensive, but it goes over a lot of really useful stuff. So this is a pretty cool book. I will be reading this over and over. Another thing I've decided to do is to take the Japanese language proficiency test. I got these workbooks. These are from, you can get them right from the Japanese site for Bojinsha. I'll put a link, when you go to the test materials, they have links to where you can buy these. These really just give you an example of, what the test is like. These are the kinds of questions that you can expect to see. So they're really more a guide to kind of help you with the test, not so much your Japanese learning, but it can help you to figure out what test should I take. Because there are sets of kanji that you would need to know for one level, and if that's the level that you're going to go for, you just focus on those. Once you know all the kanji for that level, you can keep going. So I think that that's useful. And another thing she introduced me to is this site called renshu.org. So let's take a quick look at that. So this is the site here, renshu.org, and I haven't really uncovered everything there is to do and see here, so I'm not an expert. What I've basically started off with is like kanji. So I'm like, alright, so let's go to the kanji quizzing. And what I pretty much do, you can do the JLPT, but I started with the kanji kente for whatever reason, and I started with 10. I did all of these, then you go up to level 9, and I did all of those, and up to level 8, and I did all those. So, and by doing them, what I mean is you basically go here, and it gives you this set. This is 5 kanji. And so you look at it, and you've got the kun reading, the on reading, the strokes, the name of the radical. You study all that stuff, and then you take a quiz. And you can choose what you want to be quizzed on. I really am only interested mostly in onyomi and kunyomi. I really want to know about how you say these and read these kanji. That's my thing. You can do it however you want, and yeah, so you can do that. You can do that with vocabulary too. I've been doing that kind of the same way. We've got there. So the other thing that you can do, which I didn't quite get how this started at first, is you can make these schedules. And I think that this is a good thing to do kind of right from the start. So if you start learning something, I would then put it into a schedule, because what it does is then it will let you quiz on it. And I don't even know how often you're supposed to quiz, but I usually do 1 or 2 quizzes a day. And I don't even really understand the graphs that they have here, but essentially what it does is it adds in questions. So it's like the number of days from today, the overall questions to be added. So you've got, a day from now, 2 days from now, 3 days from now. It kind of has a schedule of, okay, we're going to add in some new things, this many days out. And maybe even like kind of I think it re-quizzes you on things that you learned one day in a few days again. So you kind of get that repetition that you need, so you don't forget this stuff, because that's really what you need, is some repetition. This graph I still don't fully understand. All I know is I get more green the more I study, so that's what I do. You can just hit your quiz here. Now with these schedules, I haven't found a good way to control what kind of questions you get, so you end up getting a bunch of stroke order and radical questions, which at first kind of annoyed me, but now I kind of like it, because there are actually some kanji where I struggle with the stroke count, and it's making me realize, okay, when it's like this, this sort of a thing, whatever it is, that's actually 1 stroke and not 2, and it's kind of nice learning about the radicals, so that's not so bad. So you can kind of go through and be like, okay, this is a map or a drawing, what's the correct radical for this? It's itself, and you just go through, what are the number of strokes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, so it'd be like it's 12, and just go through and study this every day. Just make a free account on it and check it out. This is a really excellent tool. I think what's great about renshu.org is it's a safe place to fail. You screw up as many times as you need to learn. That's actually part of the learning process. Is you can't, if 2 kanji look very similar, they have the same radical, and then the other part of the kanji is different. You're not going to know what the difference is between those 2 kanji until you mistake one for the other. I studied this over a whole year, and I only studied about 400 kanji. So, is that fast? Is that slow? I have no idea, but that's the pace that I am going at, and that's okay. I just wanted to share that with you guys, in case that helps you guys out with your Japanese studying, and I hope you'll join me again soon for some more Japanese gaming related videos. Thanks for watching.